Georgie, please transcribe the following document and place it into my folder on my hard drive marked Professor Ludwig von Glockenspiel's Private Journal, October 22nd, 2011, Phoenix, Arizona. Of the 27 universal planes of existence known personally by me, at least 14 have been frequented by a large, powerful animal. Although not sentient, it is still a very clever and cunning being, having the inherent ability to pass from one universal plane to the next at will. How it does this is not yet known. It has not yet been zoologically categorized and does not have a proper designation. However, for simplicity's sake, I will call it by the name given to it by the famous English writer Lewis Carroll, who accidentally discovered one while peering into his mirror while he was shaving. It has always been the conventional thinking that his Jabberwocky was a completely fictional being. He, of course, knew better. Fortunately, his sighting was confined behind his looking glass and did not, or for some reason could not, jump into this reality. As already noted, there are at least 14 planes of existence where these Jabberwockies have been known to frequent. As Carroll has so aptly pointed out, these creatures are extremely dangerous. When confronted, none have ever been killed or even stood down. And the only known effective defense against them is to run as fast as one can in the opposite direction, and only then if they are distracted by something or someone else. That is why, when traveling through a territory where they are known to frequent, it is best to travel in small groups of 10 or 12 persons, so that when attacked, the group can then run into 10 or 12 different directions at once. It is not then necessary to outrun the Jabberwocky. You merely need to outrun the slowest members of your party. Okay, James, now back to the topic at hand. Who is most expendable of your group? Before we go there, Professor, I would like to say one thing. In the last upload, you made some rather pointed criticisms directed at me about my low view counts. And before we go any further, I would like to point this out. It's true, I've never garnered a lot of viewers to my YouTube channel or to my various video uploads. But I would also like to point out that since having you on this particular series called Jim's Gazillion Dollar Movie, my views have steadily gone down. And if you'll note, the first episode, there are quite a lot more views, although it's not a lot, but there are a lot more views on that one than the succeeding episodes. And I would also like to point out that you came on board on episode 2, and that's really when my views took a nosedive. Oh, I see what you mean. It's all my fault that your views are so bad. Yes, well, I'm the one that's all to blame. Yes, of course. Well, I'm just trying to point out that when you point a finger at somebody, you got 3 fingers pointing back at you. Oh, I haven't heard that one before. Oh, okay. Well, point well taken, James. Let's move on to something that is more salient. Now, I'd like to begin first, continue, I should say, with the next person on the list, and that would be Veronica. Oh, yes, Veronica, yes. What do you wish to say about Veronica? Well, I would like her to volunteer to be the quantum 2, next quantum 2 transportee. Yes, let's have Veronica do it. Correct me if I'm wrong, Professor, but I detect a little, how should I say, anger in your voice. Oh, you do you? Now, why would I be angry? Why would I be angry at a woman who has called me incompetent in front of the entire YouTube world? Well, how could she do that? Excuse me, I almost called you Veronica, Professor. Sorry about that. How could she do that, Professor? Since you pointed out that I don't have very many views. Well, if by some miracle one of your videos did take off, I don't know why, but if some of them did take off and they did get a lot of viewers, I would hate it to be the one, the episode where she pointed out on the comment screen that I am an incompetent scientist. I sort of remember the comment you're referring to. I don't think she mentioned that you were a scientist, but I do remember something about competency, yes. I think she didn't, if she didn't call you incompetent, I think she was inferring that you were, yes. Well, looks like I'm not the only one that's on the receiving end lately, am I, Professor? Oh, you approve of the things she said about me. Well, why don't we just move on, Professor? One thing, you want to insist that she volunteers? Yes, I would like to insist that she volunteers to be the first person we send through the Quantum 2 device. Well, how can you insist that somebody volunteers? Isn't the word isn't that kind of like an oxymoron? I mean, if somebody volunteers, isn't it like their choice? Well, yes, it's, yeah. Well, so if you insist that she volunteer, are you not then taking away her choice? Well, yes. Then isn't it kind of asinine to call her a volunteer? Why don't you call her a conscript? Okay, we won't use Veronica. Let's move on. Okay, I really don't want Veronica anyway. The one, there's two fellows that I'm more interested in.